Have you ever been so far away from home that the world felt like it stopped existing? I was in the middle of the desert, sand in my boots, sun burning the back of my neck, counting the days until I could finally walk through my own front door again. Then one ordinary Tuesday, a single letter slid under my tent flap. No return address, just my name written in my mom's handwriting. Asterisk, I smiled at first. Mom never wrote letters. She hated writing anything longer than a grocery list. I tore it open, expecting maybe a couple of photos of the garden I'd asked them to water. Maybe a silly note from Dad about the old truck finally starting again. Instead, I read 8 words that dropped me straight to my knees in the dust. Asterisk, we had to sell your house. Sweetheart, I'm sorry. Asterisk, 8 words. That was all it took to stop my heart. $850,000. 4 bedrooms. The wraparound porch I built with my own hands on every leave I ever had. Gone while I was half a world away, risking my life. My own parents sold everything I owned to pay for my sister's dream wedding. Asterisk. This is the story of how the people who were supposed to love me the most stabbed me in the back, and how I made sure they would never, ever forget the sound of my name again. Asterisk, let's go back 10 years. I was 22, fresh out of boot camp, pockets full of signing bonuses, and a fire in my chest that wouldn't let me sit still. My parents were drowning. Dad's construction business had collapsed in the recession. Mom's medical bills were piling higher than the roof. My little sister Emily was 16 and crying herself to sleep every night because the bank was about to take the only home she'd ever known. Asterisk, I looked at the 3 of them that night and made a promise I thought would fix everything. I'm going to take care of this. All of it. Asterisk, every deployment, every dangerous mission, every single paycheck. I sent it home. I lived on instant noodles and black coffee while my buddies blew their money on bars and motorcycles. 8 straight years. I bought the land first. 20 acres with a little creek running through it. Then the lumber, then the nails, then the windows. Every leave I came home and worked sunrise to sunset, hands bleeding, back screaming, building that house brick by brick when I wasn't halfway across the world dodging bullets. Asterisk, when it was finally done, I stood on the porch at sunset and cried like a kid. It was perfect. White siding, black shutters, a kitchen big enough for Sunday dinners that lasted all afternoon. I put the deed in my name only, not because I didn't trust them. I told myself, just to protect it from creditors, from lawsuits, from anything that might try to take it away again. Asterisk, I handed my parents the keys and said, this is yours to live in, rent-free forever. All I ask is you take care of it until I come home for good. They hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe. Mom sobbed into my shoulder. Dad called me his hero. Emily ran through every empty room screaming, this is the house I'm going to get married from one day. I laughed and told her she could have the backyard for wedding photos whenever that day came. I never imagined she'd take the whole damn house. Asterisk, you have to understand something about my family. There were always 2 kids, Emily, the princess, and me, the walking ATM. Emily was the golden child, strata student, cheerleader, homecoming queen. The whole fairy tale package. I was the quiet one who fixed the leaking roof, paid the overdue bills, and disappeared for months at a time so everyone else could keep shining. Asterisk, every satellite call from deployment went the same way. Hey mom, how's the house holding up? Oh honey, it's gorgeous. Thank you so much. By the way, Emily just got engaged. He proposed at the lake with a hidden photographer and everything. I'd smile through the static and tell her how happy I was. I sent extra money when the ring was more than they budgeted. I sent money for the venue deposit when the first place fell through. I sent money for the dress, the flowers, the string quartet, whatever they needed, because that's what big brothers do, right? You sacrifice so the people you love can have the fairy tale. Asterisk, but every time I asked for a simple photo of my front porch, there was silence. Every time I asked them to fix the leaky faucet in the guest bath, we're just so busy with wedding planning. Honey, we'll get to it. I brushed it off. You don't expect the people who taught you how to ride a bike to sell your entire life out from under you. Asterisk. That letter in the desert wasn't the first warning. It was the last. 2 weeks earlier, my buddy Martinez had been scrolling through a wedding website on his phone and laughed. Dude, look at this. Some girl named Emily is getting married in a house that looks exactly like the one you're always talking about. Same address and everything. Crazy coincidence, huh? I laughed with him, told him plenty of houses look alike from the outside, but something cold settled in my stomach. Asterisk, that night, I logged into the county property records on the base's ancient satellite connection, fingers shaking so hard I kept mistyping the address. Owner, Emily Grace Thompson and Benjamin Harlow. Closing date, 3 weeks ago. Sale price, $850,000 exactly. My vision went blurry. I printed that page, folded it once, and kept it in my chest pocket for 14 straight days, right over my heart, like carrying proof that the people I loved most had cut it out. Asterisk, I took emergency leave the next morning. 36 hours of flights, no sleep, just rage and grief trading places in my chest. When the plane finally touched down, I didn't go to my parents' new apartment. I rented a truck and drove straight to my house. Asterisk white tents covered the backyard. Fairy lights twinkled in the trees I planted myself. A massive floral arch stood exactly where my old hammock used to hang. And there, posing in a wedding dress that probably cost more than most cars, was my little sister. She looked up, saw me standing in the driveway in uniform, still covered in desert dust, and her perfect smile froze solid. Asterisk Jake, she whispered. Then louder, almost panicked, "You're home early." Asterisk, my parents came running out the front door like they were greeting a surprise guest instead of the son they'd robbed blind. Mom threw her arms around my neck. Dad tried that sheepish grin he always used when he needed another loan. I just stood there, reached into my pocket, pulled out the folded county record and held it up. Asterisk explain. The silence hurt my ears. Mom started crying first. It was only supposed to be temporary. The original venue burned down and Emily was devastated. And asterisk Dad jumped in quick. "We were going to pay you back. The bank said we could take out a mortgage in Emily's name, but your name had to come off the title first." Asterisk Emily buried her face in her fiancé's chest and wailed. "You were never here, Jake. This house just sat empty 300 days a year. I needed it more than you did." Asterisk I looked at the three of them, people I had literally carried on my back at different points in my life, and felt something inside me die quietly. I asked the only question that mattered. Asterisk, did you even try to call me? One email, one text, anything at all? Asterisk Mom stared at the grass. Dad opened his mouth and closed it again. Emily just kept sobbing, pretty tears that didn't touch her mascara yet. Asterisk, we didn't want to stress you while you were deployed. Mom finally whispered. Asterisk that was the exact moment I stopped being their son and started being the man who was going to take everything back. Asterisk I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I just turned around, walked to my truck, and drove away. Because the best revenge isn't loud. It's cold, quiet, and 100% legal. Asterisk first thing the next morning, I walked into the bank and requested every single document from the sale. Took them 4 hours to print it all. And there it was. Page 27. A power of attorney with my forged signature dated 6 months earlier. Right in the middle of a training exercise when I had zero cell service and zero way for anyone to reach me. Felony fraud. Plain and simple. Asterisk I froze every joint account I'd ever been stupid enough to let them touch. Then I called the meanest real estate attorney in the state. The one who eats shady developers for breakfast and posts their bones on his wall. He read the file once, looked up at me, and grinned like Christmas came early. And then I waited. I let them think I'd rolled over. I even sent Emily a text the day before the wedding. "Congratulations, little sis. Hope you have the best day ever." She answered with heart emojis and a voice note gushing about how much she loved me. She actually thought she'd won. Asterisk the wedding was scheduled for Saturday. 400 guests, ice sculptures, a string quartet flown in from Vienna. All of it paid for with my blood, my sweat, and the house I built board by board. Asterisk I showed up at 10 o'clock sharp, still in dress blues, medals shining. The security guys at the gate took one look at the court order in my hand and stepped aside. You see, 3 days earlier, a judge had signed an emergency injunction. Fraudulent transfer. Title reverts to me immediately. Anyone on the property after noon is trespassing, and the sheriff is on standby. Asterisk I walked straight down the aisle, runner they'd laid over my front lawn, past the white chairs, past 400 open mouths, right up to the floral arch where Emily was lined up to make her grand entrance. The officiant looked like he was about to faint. I leaned into the microphone, nice and slow, so every phone in the place could catch it crystal clear. Asterisk, good morning, everyone. My name is Master Sergeant Jacob Thompson, United States Marine Corps. This is my house. The sale was fraudulent. As of 30 seconds ago, this event is officially over. Please exit the premises in an orderly fashion. Asterisk 400 people gasped at the exact same time. It sounded like wind rushing through the trees. Asterisk Emily screamed, "You can't do this," and lunged at me still holding her bouquet. I handed her the court order. I just did. Asterisk security, now on my payroll, started ushering guests toward the driveway. The caterers packed up the food faster than I'd ever seen people move. The florist literally took the flowers back, petal by petal. The photographer looked at me and asked, "You want me to keep shooting?" I told him only if he sent me the raw footage. Asterisk Emily was hysterical, veil crooked, mascara finally running. Mom dropped to her knees in the grass begging me to think of the family. Dad took one swing at me and immediately remembered why that was a bad idea. When 2 of my Marine buddies stepped out from behind the tents, arms crossed, not smiling. Asterisk I looked at my sister, the princess who'd just lost her castle, and said the only thing I needed to say. Asterisk you wanted the fairy tale. You got it. Every princess eventually learns what happens when she forgets who built the castle in the first place. Asterisk then I walked inside my house, locked the door, poured myself a cold beer, and sat on my own porch swing while they loaded her dream wedding into 2 U-Haul trucks in the driveway. The string quartet played one sad note and gave up. Asterisk, the fallout was beautiful in its own brutal way. Someone live-streamed the whole thing. The video hit 10 million views in 48 hours. News channels called it the wedding crasher with the deed. Emily's fiancé, the one with the trust fund and the country club parents, left her at the hotel that night. Turns out his mom Googled the family name and didn't like what she saw on the front page. Asterisk, my parents lost their jobs, their friends, their church. They tried to sue me for emotional distress. The judge laughed so hard he had to take a break, then sanctioned their lawyer for wasting the court's time. Asterisk, I put the house on the market 6 months later and sold it for $1.2 million. Every penny went into a trust for wounded veterans. Not 1 cent will ever touch my family again. Asterisk, sometimes, late at night, I still take out that letter they sent me in the desert. I wrote one back. Never mailed it. It's only 2 pages, but it ends like this. Asterisk, you taught me that blood doesn't mean loyalty. It just means you share DNA with the people most likely to hurt you when you're not looking. Thank you for the lesson. Turns out, the only family I need are the brothers who carried me through fire, not the ones who sold my home for centerpieces and ice swans. Asterisk, so here's what I want you to remember. Never build a castle for people who wouldn't lift a single brick to help you. Love is not a blank check. Sacrifice should never be, and if someone betrays you while you're out there fighting for your life, you don't owe them forgiveness. You owe yourself justice. Asterisk, I lost my family that year, but I found my son, and trust me, that's worth way more than any house. Asterisk, if you've ever had the people who were supposed to have your back shove a knife in it instead, drop their initials in the comments. Let them go. Then go build something they can never touch again. Asterisk, this is Master Sergeant Jacob Thompson. Off from the porch they tried to take from me.